Okay, welcome back to my channel. So today I am bringing you a live that is super important, super exciting, and that is finally bringing you my misconceptions video about locks. There are so many misconceptions about locks, so I'm excited to be bringing you this video. I have a list here on the side of me of all the things that I have heard about locks, and yeah, so I'm just gonna go through the list and let you know if they're true, how true they are, and yeah. And then maybe that will help some of us that are deciding whether or not we want to get locks and if it's a good choice, if it's a good idea for us. Okay, so before I get started, don't forget to check out Shades of Sage video. Hi, Mom. Thank you for logging on. Don't forget to check out Shades of Sage video. She just uploaded a video today, so go ahead and check it out. She has super exciting news to share with everyone and just kind of giving you an update about what's going on in her life. So yes, if you're not subscribed already, go ahead and subscribe. Check out her latest video. And if you are subscribed, again, check out her latest video. It should be really exciting. And there's a cute little treat at the end. It's so cute. But yes, let's get into this video. Okay, so if you, along the way, if you have any other misconceptions or any other things that you have heard about locks that you want to put in a comment section, go ahead and put it in the comment section. All right, first and foremost, one of the biggest, the biggest thing I probably have heard about locks is that they are dirty. That's like the biggest thing you hear about locks is that they're dirty. And I'm amazed because when we all went natural, and that was like 10 years ago, a little over 10 years ago, where like the whole black community decided, you know what, no more relaxers, we're gonna be natural, we're going to embrace our hair. Thank you, Shima. We're gonna embrace our hair, we're gonna learn how to take care of our hair, take care of our curls. When we did that, that was a shock to some people. And people that were natural before us, there was like they weren't as appreciated when they were doing it before everybody else, but they were ahead of the game. So two little quick stories. I remember I had a friend in grade school and her name was Nasa. So Nasa, if you ever see this video, hey girl. So her name was Nasa and she was natural. She had curly hair. And I remember one time she spent the night at my house and she washed her hair and she left a conditioner in it. And I remember my sister and I were like, you're not supposed to do that. You're supposed to rinse the conditioner out. And we were kind of like upset with her for doing that. And we were like telling ourselves like, that's probably why her hair looks like that. That's probably why her hair is, because to us, it was undone. But really, she just had super curly hair and she was embracing her curls and we just didn't understand it at the time. So again, people didn't appreciate locks at the time. Natural hair at the time. And then I also remember when I went natural, my first year going natural, I was actually in cosmetology school at the time. And it came a time where we were supposed to take pictures because we were graduating, but I didn't want to straighten my hair for pictures because I was starting my natural hair journey and I knew that my hair needed to be as strong as possible. That was the whole point of going natural. And I wasn't taking pictures. And I remember my cosmetology teacher was like, so why won't you straighten your hair? And I was like, because I'm going natural and I'm going to cut the relaxer off. And I was just so excited. And she was just like, why would you do that? Why would you do that? And I felt so offended, but at the time I was set on what I wanted to do, but I felt offended. But again, people did not understand natural hair as much when we first started out. And it's the same way with the locks. So locks are becoming this whole big thing, this whole big wave, and people are learning to love locks, appreciate them, do their own locks, take care of their own locks. So there's a lot of negative connotations, a lot of negative comments, a lot of bad things that people say and feel about locks, but that's honestly because we just were not educated and we didn't know as much about them in the past, and now we're learning about them. And you have to understand that locks are a different type of beauty. There is a beauty that straight hair has. There is a beauty that curly hair has. There's a beauty that wavy hair has. There's a beauty that dark hair has and light hair has. All hair is different and there is beauty in all of them, and locks is just another way to have your hair. There is beauty in locks. So for you to say that they're dirty, that again shows that you don't know that much about them. Just like any other hairstyle and any other type of hair, wash your locks when you need to wash them. Right? Wash your locks. Now, like I said, in the past, people didn't know as much about them. So some people may not have taken care of their locks as much as they should have in the past. And that just was because they were learning how to do it. But they're definitely not dirty. There are a lot of people transitioning from being a natural hair person to loose natural hair to locks. And those people still keep their regular routine, their regular regimen that they have. If they were washing their hair every 2 weeks, they keep up with that. If they wash their hair every week, they keep up with that. And then, of course, you have the ladies who want their hair to lock faster. So they wash it often so that it can get as tangled as possible to kind of mesh their hair together. But no, locks are not dirty. And no, they do not stink. But you do have to consider that your hair is in a style and it's in a set style. So with that being said, when you wash it, you have to take extra care to make sure that you're not just rubbing shampoo over it, but you're actually allowing the shampoo to get into the lock and allowing whatever dirt or oils that's in your hair to come out the lock. And just like with natural hair, what you put in your hair is what you have to take out. So if you are heavy on products on your locks, and you really shouldn't be because obviously they will get trapped inside, then you gotta be really heavy on the way you shampoo it to get the dirt or the oils out of it, because you don't want it to be that you have too much moisture in your hair after a wash, or that you didn't get all the dirt or oils out of it as much as possible, so that stuff starts to build up and then you get lock buildup, which is a whole nother story. But no, they're not dirty. You wash them when you need to wash them. They're not smelly. You just take care of it like you do your other hair. For me, when I was a loose natural, if you watch some of my videos, I spoke about how I am really sensitive to a lot of stuff, particularly oils. So with that being said, I don't put a lot of stuff in my hair. When I was a loose natural, I literally only put in my hair, I was down to just the aloe vera, conditioner, and sometimes gel, depending on the style. That was it. So there's only 3 things in my hair. So when it came time to wash it, I wasn't washing much out anyway. So the more products you put in there, the heavier your product is that you're putting in there, the more you need to be careful when you are washing it out. And now with my locks, still the same thing, except I don't use conditioner, and that's just the aloe vera and just the shampoo. All right, I see some comments, so let me read them real quick. All right, so Shades of Sage said, whew, that's hard to say. Shades of Sage said, yes, I wash and wet my hair more often now with locks than when I was a loose natural. So exactly, right? You just follow your own regimen. Do what works best for you. Tiffany Brown, hey, girl. Her rule of thumb is if it doesn't lather well on the first wash, wash it again. That's really important because that's important because you got to get it clean. So soap is supposed to lather. And if it's not lathering, like Tiff said, if it's not lathering, yeah, you need to go back and wash again. Most times you're going to have to wash it more than once. And sometimes it's just good to at least wash it more than once to just double check. But yes, when you got locks, go ahead, take the time to wash it. I like to squeeze locks a lot so that I can kind of get the water inside of it and then squeeze the soap out of it. And then, of course, I just did someone's hair and I washed their hair and I put the shampoo on their scalp. I'm big on putting the shampoo on their scalp if you put a lot of stuff in your scalp. And if you're just trying not to have the shampoo all over, especially if you have starter locks, then you kind of want to control what you're doing when you're shampooing. So even when I do mine, I put the shampoo on the scalp first and then I wash that and then I let it run down the lock. But yes, locks are not dirty. And I'm a little surprised that people say this, but I can understand because if you don't know, you just don't know. And again, back in the past, people didn't know as much either. So some people didn't care for their locks the way they should. But us being natural now, we understand our hair a lot better. So transitioning to locking our hair is something that we're like, okay, well, I already know how it works when it was natural. Having it locked is just a little bit different. But a lot of things you're kind of keeping the same. Let's see. Of course, in my last video, I spoke about locks being permanent. A lot of people are like, you locked your hair? Like, that's just the end of everything. You're just always going to be locked. Absolutely not. Again, in the past, that's how it was seen. But if you are keeping up with the lock journey of a lot of people, you can comb your locks out. And in the past, people would cut their locks out. Like they would let it grow some and then cut it off. But now you just comb it out. And a lot of people are preserving a lot of their hair by taking the time to comb it out. I do not know the YouTuber's name, but she had 1,000 locks and she took them out. And I haven't watched the video yet, but I think she said it took her like a month to take them out. She had small Microlocs. So it may take longer depending on how long you've had them in. So how well and how mature are they, how small they are. But yeah, you can comb locks out. So for those people that debate whether or not to do it, if you don't like it, comb it out. If you don't like it, comb it out. There's so many people who started locks, didn't like it, took them out, went back natural, got a relaxer, went back to locks. Like, you can go back and forth through stages. Right, absolutely. Just like Tiff said, there's plenty of people who are combing them out now. If you don't like it, comb it out. The earlier you comb it out, the easier. The longer you wait, the harder. But there are people who've had it for years, like 10 years plus, combing them out, and they still are preserving their hair. You're going to have to be patient, but it can absolutely be done. It is not the end all be all. So they are not permanent for life. Comb them out if you don't like them. Another misconception is that it makes your hair grow. Now, this is something that you hear about a lot of different things, that it makes your hair grow. But if you do know about hair, you know that hair is always growing. It's always growing. So if you're somebody who is stuck at the same length for a long time, that just means that for whatever reason, your hair is breaking off at the same rate that it's growing, and you don't get to see its length. You don't get to see it grow down because it's breaking off at the ends. So it's growing out the scalp and yet cutting off at the ends each time. So locks do not make your hair grow, but locks is like the ultimate protective style. If you're doing your hair the right way, maintaining your locks, keeping up with your routine, then locks are the ultimate protective style. If you're taking care of them, you'll see your growth and you won't be losing the hair at the ends. So it's a little bit easier to keep your hair on at the ends when it's locked because it's in a protective style. So just like when you were loose natural, if you put your hair in like 2-strand twists and left them in for a month or two, you took them out and you noticed growth, that's because you weren't doing anything to break it off. Your ends are protected a little bit better. You're not breaking them off. So locks don't make your hair grow. It just is a more permanent protective style. So you can actually see how your hair is retaining length because you're not breaking it off at the ends. All right, so someone mentioned a political statement, so I'm not sure if they mean that all people that get locks are a political statement, because that's not true. Sometimes you're just getting them because you like them, but you do know that certain hairstyles have like roots in Africa where these hairstyles meant something, especially like braids, right? The hairstyles meant something, it had a meaning, and locks is one of them. But sometimes we're just... Thank you. Thanks, Tiffany. I do say get it thicker, so I think that's super cool. And there's moisture in the air, so my hair, if it feels just a little bit of moisture, it starts curling up and puffing. So it's doing whatever it wants to do. But yeah, so as far as it being a political statement, not for everybody. Some people just like locks. Some people, it just is something that worked with their schedule, with their lifestyle, or they just really liked them, and so they decided, I'm gonna get locks. If you watch my video about why I got it, I had a ton of different reasons about why I locked my hair. And one was I just like them. I think they're nice. I think they look nice. I like them. As far as it not being professional, that's a hard one to answer because locks being professional is up to the profession you're in, and I would guess who you're working for. I would say there are hairstyles clearly that are unprofessional. There's hairstyles you can get, there's haircuts you can get, whatever that could be unprofessional. If somebody says that locks and you're just wearing your locks out, that they're unprofessional, again, that's just lack of education, because that's just how my hair is. I put it in a style and I kept it that way, but that doesn't mean that they're unprofessional. So you should be able to wear your locks freely at work and not have anyone tell you that they're unprofessional or have anyone tell you that they don't look nice or that you're not doing your hair. But again, When we went natural, if you talk to some people, especially like some older people, about your natural hair being in this curly state, then you get the comments of your hair is not done. You don't comb your hair. You don't do your hair. So obviously, some people are going to think the same way about locks, and you can't change everybody's idea about it. But if you have a type of job where you need to have your hair up, put your hair up with your locks. If you have a type of job, like if you're in the food industry or something where your hair has to be tied back, then tie it back. You can do the same exact thing with locks that you can do with other styles. All right, let me get to some of these comments. All right, so Tiffany's just letting us know that she got locks because she didn't like doing her hair. So nothing political. she said she's just lazy. But honestly though, sometimes for me, I was just getting too busy to do my hair and to take the time to do it right. And our hair can be really particular about what is being done to it and how we should treat it. So absolutely, if you're somebody who feels like you don't have the time to treat your hair right, locks may be a better route for you to go. However, there are some people that think you can just put your hair on locks and do nothing at all. That's not a good thing, because you'll see your locks change. You'll see it go from like thin in one section to thick in another, and that's just because you're not taking care of it. So still take care of your hair if you have locks. And I can say I've gotten to do Tiffany's hair, and she has one of the better set of locks that I've seen. And you can tell that she keeps up on her routine, or at least it looks like it, Tiff. It looks like it. Her locks are really nice. But keep up on your retwists, reties, whatever your hair needs. Keep up on it. But don't just lock it and just forget about it, because your locks are going to tell on you that that's what you do. All right. So Mark asked, hey, Mark. So he asked, how long does it take to do mine? I'm going to assume maybe you're talking about retying, like retying the roots. If I'm talking about retying, then that can take hours, depending on how much new growth I have, because that's like an intricate process. So if I'm talking about retying, it's been taking me anywhere from like 8 to 12 hours to do a retie. And most times I'm recording though. I often don't do reties where I'm not recording. Most times I am. So that's one of the reasons why it takes so long. If I'm doing somebody's retwist, if I'm doing somebody else's retwist, and let's say their hair is detangled, you can tell they keep up on their routine. So I'm not trying to like doctor anything else. Yeah, it takes a long time. If I'm not trying to doctor anything in a retwist, then that's going to take a few hours too. I would say give or take 4 hours, depending on how many locks that person has, and if we wash it, that type of thing. But that's if they're actually taking care of their hair. But if I got to go back and like repair locks or anything like that, then that takes a little bit longer. All right, I got to... Okay. Yes, so my mom was pointing out that yes, some companies just see it unprofessional to have locks or to have braids. And honestly, it depends on the company that you're in, if they see it as being unprofessional or not. And it depends on your superiors, because they might have an issue with it. Which again, if you're wearing your hair, if you have to wear your hair a certain way for your job, that's one thing. But if they're saying it just because of your locks, because they don't like the look, then that's not something I think I would accept. I'd be upset about that one, because it's your hair. All right, so Shades of Sage was saying she got them because she's tired of detangling. And she's about to give Saya locks too. I hear you, girl. No, detangling is really, really bad. It was getting really bad with me. I think the longer my hair got, it was just getting bad. It was getting bad. So I had to do something, or I was about to rip it all out. And that wasn't going to be a good thing if I ripped it out. But you got to have patience. You have to have patience, especially the more curly your hair is. Okay, so Tiffany's just letting us know that, yes, she does get it retwisted every 3 months or so, which is a good schedule to be on. And, of course, just oil and water is the product you use. So, again, the less product you use, the better. The less product you use, the better. Some people do other things, and I have, like, debated baby hair, because that's, like, I don't know. That's just, like, the thing with locks is the baby hair. And it does make them look really nice, but I'm concerned about the product buildup of it, of having you got to put a lot of product to make your hair lay down. That really doesn't really lay down. You just want it to lay down. And I don't think that's worth it for me, at least not at this time. And yes, Tiff, girl, that is a whole day process. But that's why some people go to a loctician to get it done, because if something's going to take that long, you want to go to somebody that enjoys doing it. So at the moment, I still enjoy doing it. When I do my reties, I think it's fun. I feel like it's sewing, so I think that's super, super fun for me. Like, I like the whole movement and everything. And yeah, I just put on a movie, like a trilogy or something, and just play them back to back, and then I'm pretty much good to go. It's fun for me. Right. Yeah, and a lot of girls, and that's the thing. So the good thing is, just like our hair was natural, our daughters see it. And the younger girls see it, and they learn to appreciate it. So you're going to get, if you have locks especially, you're going to get your daughters asking you for locks too, because they see how your hair is flourishing. They see how nice it looks, how you have to care for it, and they just learn another way to care for natural hair. But yeah, I get you, Tiff. Some people just don't like it. Like, hair is just not their thing. So some hairstyles take a long time. But if hair is not your thing and it takes a long time, then yeah, you're gonna run out of patience. But thankfully, it's my thing for now. If it ever becomes not my thing to do my retwist, then I'm gonna have to find somebody I really, really trust, because I am super picky to make sure they do their interlocking just the same exact way I would. But yes, okay, let's see. Where am I at? I think I have three more misconceptions left. Oh, okay. I've gotten a lot of people say that locks is only for a certain type of hair. And I don't know. I'm still doing research on that. So I have a couple of clients that I'm working with who have fine hair, or hair that is not as coarse, and I'm trying different methods to see what is the best method for their locks to hold. So if you have any suggestions, go ahead and leave them in the comment section or comment now. But I'm just trying different things to see how it would hold. I honestly do not agree with the idea that you have to have a coarser texture to lock your hair, because it just doesn't make sense to me. Because especially with interlocking, which is something that is pretty permanent, I feel like your beginning stages is going to be tougher. You're going to have to baby your hair a little bit more. Right. You're going to have to baby your hair a little bit more. But yeah, like Tiffany said, I feel like, see, I would say interlocking is the only way, but I've seen others who started it with comb coils who had fine hair and theirs stayed. So I honestly think it's a matter of your maintenance. Like, when you go to wash it, are you washing your hair? If you have fine hair, do not wash your hair with your baby locks like you're just tangling it up, because you don't want to do that. So then they have the other methods, like put it in a bigger 2-strand twist or something before you wash it, or put a stocking cap on it, something before you wash it, and wash it through there, because you don't want it to come undone. But I honestly feel like if you're patient enough, even if you have fine hair, it should lock for you. You're just gonna have to be patient enough to help it mature. That beginning stages is gonna take a lot of patience on your part, and you're gonna have to make sure that you're not undoing it unnecessarily. Not unnecessarily undoing it. So if you got baby locks, especially if you get it wet or if you wash it, yeah, you gotta. I remember when I got in cosmetology school and I got my first mannequin and I had to wash his hair, and I was so excited to wash his mannequin's hair, and I was like, I'm just gonna wash it and get it clean. I don't know what's in the mannequin's hair that I thought I had to get out, but I washed it so rough, and then her hair tangled up so bad, and I went to my teacher like, why is her hair a mess? And I'm looking at them like, y'all gave me a messed up mannequin. But she was like, why did you wash it like that? So I learned that when I wash a mannequin, I have to always brush her hair down and kind of wash everything down. Same thing with when I wash other people's hair. You got to learn to wash down. And I think you have to do that when you have baby locks too. You got to learn to wash down. It's not motions like this, like you would do loose hair. You got to wash down because you don't want to unravel them. Yes, and I also think, like Tiffany said, if you have a retwist, especially if you have a retwist, because they come undone a little more than interlocking. If you have a retwist, put it in a style, and that makes those retwists last longer, which is going to help your hair kind of gather together better and hopefully get you the mature locks, because you're just trying to get it to that mature stage, and then you will be good to go. But yes, you can still scratch it, but don't scratch it like this. Don't do the circular motions where you're like all over. Not everybody's hair is going to stay. So when you do it, you got to like keep like straight. I don't know how to explain it, but it's like vertical lines when you're doing it. Most times when we wash our hair, we go in like a circle, you know. That's how you wash it. But for people with fine hair, I would suggest you got to wash it down. Try to keep it straight as much as possible, or put it in like chunkier twists or something so that the ends don't come undone on you. Let's see. The ugly stage that everybody talks about all the time. Now, I don't think, and I'm still trying to watch other journeys, but it seems like people with Microlocs and sister locks, like the smaller locks, they kind of avoid the ugly stage. Right. But I think people with the larger locks, you guys have to go through it. And again, kind of like Tiff was saying before, just if it's really, really bothering you, then you can always, when you go out, you can like put your hair in a bun or put it in a ponytail, that type of thing. Or you can just embrace it. Or you can just ride it out. Just ride your ugly stage out. But the ugly stage is just a point where your locks are, they're really about to mature. So if you can make it through that point, you know after that, your locks are going to be slamming after that. You just got to make it through that stage, kind of ride it out. But yeah, it's like your locks just aren't cooperating. They're not cooperating. They're sticking up wherever they want to stick up. They just doing their own thing. But remember, during the locking process, they got to swell up and then come back and contract. So you got to get through that ugly stage, as people call it. But if it's really bothering you, see what kind of hairstyles you can do during that stage that maybe you're a little bit more comfortable with when you go out. But if you're somebody that's not going out all the time, or if, again, you can withstand it, I would just ride it out. Because even with your natural hair, and I see it with locks too, the more you allow your hair to just be, just let it alone and just let it be, the more it flourishes, because your hair has a certain way it wants to look, a certain way it wants to feel. So go ahead and let it do what it does, and then before you know it, you'll be over the ugly stage. Well, my mom said she do everything she's not supposed to do. But that's what happens. I think it's just the more you know, the better you could do. I'm trying to read. Okay. Exactly. Like Tiffany's saying, if you can write it out. Because again, and that's why I said ugly stage. And she put hers in quotes too. Because it's ugly to who though? Like who thinks it's ugly? It could be you. It could be other people. If you're uncomfortable, if you're really uncomfortable, then try different hairstyles. But if you can stand it, or if you know how to just embrace it, that it's just a phase of this journey, then embrace it and it will pass. And of course, it is a sign of growth. It is a sign of you progressing through your journey. So enjoy it if you can. If you can, enjoy it. It's kind of like when we all had that TWA, that little afro after you cut off your relaxer, for those that did cut it off. And you know, that was rough. That was rough for some people. But if you were able to ride it out, some of those people who rode it out and didn't really mess with their hair as much, they saw the most growth and the most progress with their hair. So I say ride it out. Let me see, is there anything else? I think the only other thing is, again, when it goes back to things being dry or looking dry, I think you just have to notice that your hair is super curly. And when it comes to hair looking shiny, that comes from the light reflecting off of it. And because the way locks are, it can't reflect light as much as if your hair was straight. And then if you were natural, your hair didn't reflect light as much because of the curls. The curls kept bending every time the light is bouncing off of it. But shiny hair doesn't necessarily mean healthy hair. And honestly, I have seen tons and tons of locks and tons of people with locks whose hair looks healthy and it does look shiny. So sometimes it's not always a shiny that you would have when your hair is straight, but it's more like a sheen. It's more like you can tell that it's not dry. So it's more like a sheen on it. There are many things you can do to your locks. Some people do put conditioner in it. I haven't done it yet. Some people do though. They put conditioner in their hair. Some people, of course, use oils, those that can. Things like that to add moisture into your hair. So whatever works for adding moisture, you can add moisture to locks. So go ahead and add moisture to your locks as needed. And again, it's not going to look exactly like it looked when it was straight, but locks have their own type of beauty, and you have to understand what do healthy locks look like? What do healthy locks look like? And not kind of compare it to different types of hair, because they are different and they look different. But I think that is pretty much it. Besides the fact, the last one that I can think of, I think I hit everything else. If I miss one, go ahead and leave a comment down below, or you can comment now and I'll try to address it. But the last thing I can think of is people that say you can only have one style with locks, and that is not true. Oh yes, that is great advice, Tiffany, because people forget that the more curly your hair is, absolutely, yes, the more water you probably need. And yes, you need it both ways. You got to drink it, and you got to be putting it in your hair as much as possible as needed. And yeah, I just try to think, you got to act like a fish. You got to be one with water. Like, you got to drink it, use it in your hair, because water has a lot of good benefits, and it definitely has benefits to things on your body that grows, like your hair and like your skin. Things that's constantly growing, it needs to be replenished. It needs water in order to be able to do that. So absolutely, with all hair, the more, like Tiffany's saying, the better you eat, the better the things that you put in your body is what your body gives back out. So if you're looking to do anything as far as like maybe having shinier skin, healthier skin, eat better, drink more water. Healthier hair, eat better, drink more water. Longer nails, eat better, drink more water, because these things radiate what we put inside of ourselves. So if you're having issues like that, kind of look at what you're eating and see if you can make any kind of adjustments to give you better success with the things that you're seeing going on with your body. If you feel like your hair is drying out, your skin is drying out, those type of things, it could be the things that you're eating that's actually having a negative effect on things. But yes, absolutely, locks are versatile. So I think the smaller they are, the more styles you can do. However, you could do styles with large locks, medium locks, small locks. Everything that you could do with your natural hair, you could do with locks, except for maybe flat iron it. You're probably not going to flat iron a lock. I've never heard of that one before. But blow dry it, you could do it. 2-strand twist, you can do it. Twist out, braid out, you could do it. Make it curly, roller sets, you can do it. So pretty much anything that you were able to do with your natural hair when it was loose, you can do with locks. It may look a little different. Your parts may look a little different. You may have to use a different type of tool. But as far as styling it and changing it up and switching it up, you can do any of those things with your locks. So some of the things that you could do with your locks in the past, you absolutely can do it with your locks still. So they are very much versatile, and there is so much that you can do with your locks. But I think that is all that I have. Again, if I forgot any misconceptions, if I forgot any comments and you would like me to address them, go ahead and leave them in the comment section below. But thank you all for tuning in. Thank you for the conversation. If you can think of any more advice that you want to give to people, please share advice, because a lot of us are on a journey and we're just starting out, or we've been in it for just a little bit, but the more we can share with each other, the better we can all be. But thank you all so much for logging on. I appreciate your participation. Go ahead and leave a comment down below of any extra advice that you might have. And yes, I hope to see you in the next one. I hope to give out my lock video and my new intro soon. So until next time, adios everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in.